Hi Book Talk, Nick's Book Nook here. So only a few days left in 2024, and I keep seeing a lot of people doing this, so I am jumping on the bandwagon and I am going to rank my top book that I've read for each month of this year, starting with January. Full disclaimer, this was a lot harder than you might think because there were certain months where I read a lot of great books, other months where I read maybe only one or two, and I wasn't really too much of a fan of either, so bear with me. But my first one for the month of January when I was on vacation was Bad Summer People. I'm going to plug that here. I don't own the physical copy of that book. Really, really enjoyed that. A perfect beach read. So, being a cold month in New Jersey, but being away on a nice beach, it was the perfect vibe. Takes place on Fire Island. It's essentially just like the quintessential summer read. So make sure if you haven't read it last summer, read it this summer. Or if you live somewhere warm year round, read it whenever. Great book. Really enjoyed that one. Okay, so for February, Keep Your Friends Close by Lucinda Berry, and it's not even close. Loved that book. Moms in Hollywood meets a murder mystery. It's everything. Really, really liked that. And I love anything that Lucinda Berry writes. She's become one of my favorites. As you all know, my thoughts on The Perfect Child were just mind blown. I have a couple of her other books that I can't wait to get into. But Keep Your Friends Close for the month of February. Check that one out if you haven't. You guys won't be disappointed. Okay, for March, Too Late. Hands down one of my all-time favorites by Miss Colleen Hoover. No, I'm not using the inverted filter. You'll be fine. Really, really liked this one. I was not expecting this to be what it was. It was so fast-paced. It was so real. I just loved it. It wasn't as romance heavy as some of her other ones. I have read a lot of them, not all of them by any means, but I would say this one is slightly under Verity in terms of overall content being dark. Really, really like this. A lot of you have already read this. If you haven't, I highly recommend if you wanted to jump on the Colleen bandwagon. I have not read a book from her in quite some time. I actually think this might be the last one I did read. I would be willing to read this one again. That's how much I liked it. Really, really enjoyed this one. The month of April, it's The Paper Palace by Miss Miranda Coley Heller. I've been talking about this book all year. One of my top reads of the year. Reese's Book Club never does me wrong. Give this a go. This takes place over the course of one day, also goes back in time to talk about the past. It's between a group of friends, a boy and a girl that have always kind of had a thing for each other. She's now married with kids. They're at their family's lake house. It's juicy, salacious, and there's a lot of twists and turns that you will not see coming. Cannot recommend this book enough. Easily one of my top 5 of the year. May was overall a slow reading month for me, but I am going to go with The Idea of You by Robin Lee. I'm not sure if you guys saw the movie with Anne Hathaway and Nicholas Galanstein. Maybe that's why it was my favorite, but I actually did really enjoy the book too. I believe, if I remember correctly, short-term memory, it's a thing. I think I watched the movie, then read the book, which I typically don't do, but I really, really enjoyed the book. Really, really enjoyed the movie, so check that one out if you have not already. So I'm kind of cheating because June I really didn't read much at all, and I started this at the very tail end of June and finished it in July, but I still started it in June, so I'm using it anyway. ACOTAR. One of my favorites, one of my favorite series I read this year. I wasn't a fan of all of the books, but I did really enjoy the first through the third. So do with that what you will. But you gotta read it if you haven't. It's definitely a journey. I don't regret reading it, and I am looking forward to eventually getting into some of Sarah J. Maas's other work. I have not yet. I gotta find the time, I gotta find the energy, and I gotta find the focus, y'all. But ACOTAR, definitely. July was a sad month because I read The Last Letter, and that book was so good. And I just spent 5 minutes looking around my house for the copy of it because I could have swore that I bought the physical copy, but I can't find it. So I guess I'll have to buy it because I would totally read that book again whenever I feel like a good cry, because that's all you're going to do is cry. But it was really good. I really liked it. So read it if you haven't. Is there words needed for August? It started me on a journey that I have yet to come back from, y'all, okay? Do it. I'm pretty sure I read all 3 of these over the course of a weekend. September. Another real good cry. Something about, warm weather and happy vibes just makes me want to read something to gut me, because this one really did the job. Loved this book. Probably also another one of my top 5 reads of the year. Archer's Voice, Mia Sheridan. Still haven't read Travis. Don't judge. I'll get there eventually. Guess what it is? I decided to read this absolutely gut-wrenching novel the month of my birthday for October. #1 read of the year, sure, but oh my god, I've never cried so hard reading a book, truly. It's as popular as it is for a reason, you guys. Read it. You won't regret it. Unless you don't like crying. Then you might regret it. But you're not going to regret going on the journey because it is one. It is amazing. This book made her one of my all-time favorite authors. This was one of the best books, not only that I read this year, this was probably the number one for this year. This is like number 1 or 2 book ever. It's that good. And for November, you know, I was just on a trend of just needing to be gutted still. The Women, another phenomenal book. This one just came out this year. It was voted one of the top reads of the year by Miss Kristen Hanna. Again, one of my favorite authors. Great, great book. Number 2, but very, very close to The Nightingale for me. Still, they are both number 1 and number 2 reads for me of the entire year. Check this one out if you haven't. Love it. There's still some time left in December, but Christmas is right around the corner, y'all. And I have one more book left on my TBR, and it's Happy Place by Emily Henry. And I don't want to, you know, go into it negatively, but I have not heard the most glowing reviews. I know a lot of you love her. I'm sure that it will be fine, but I don't think it's going to compare to my December favorite read thus far. Blue Sisters. I freaking love this book. This is such a good book. I also really liked After I Do by Taylor Jenkins Reid. It was hard for me to choose between the two of them. I think I just read a lot of Taylor Jenkins Reid this year, so I don't know. This one was not what I expected it to be. They were both phenomenal though, both 5-star reads, honestly. They were definitely rounding out like my top 4 or 5 of the year. So Blue Sisters, followed very, very closely by After I Do by Miss Taylor Jenkins Reid. So that is my reading wrap up for 2024. I cannot believe that this year is already coming to a close. I just want to say thank you guys so much. I have met so many wonderful people here on TikTok. Obviously, we don't know what the future holds with the app itself. You can follow me on Instagram at Nick's Book Nook Official. I'm also on YouTube, same handle. Reach out to me via email, also nicksbooknookofficial@gmail.com. I want to stay in touch with all of you, whether or not TikTok is still around. You guys are all incredible. I love the community here, and thank you for watching my videos. Thank you for engaging. Thank you for sharing, reposting, entering all my contests. Speaking of, we are still waiting to decide our Candle Co. Nick's Book Nook collaboration giveaway. We are announcing those winners on January 4th. Check out the first pinned video on my page and enter today. You will not regret it. Get yourself some great wax melts as we head into the new year. Start it by smelling good things and reading some damn good books. So I will talk to you guys soon. I hope you all have a beautiful weekend and a very, very happy holiday season. Bye, y'all.